Hi guys, my name is ASSYL and welcome back to my channel. Fattest disclaimer, very ugly, the ugliest, huge freaking cold sore ever. Please do not watch if you're disgusted by the big fat cold sore and pimples because I get you 100% not my fault. Sorry, I warned y'all. Today, as you can see from the title, we're gonna talk about the Grammys. The Grammys of 2021. Damn, it's already 21. As soon as the nominations were out, I knew I had to do a video on it. I just knew I had to do a video on it because every single year, the Grammys, that's the thing when they just decide to ruin everyone's day on the day of nominations. So that's just how it is, that's how they work, that's how they function. That day per year. Actually, that's the first day. The second day when they announce the winners, but that day they're deciding just to bother everyone. That's how they roll. I promise you, for the last 5 years, that was their tactic. First of all, I would like to deeply apologize in front of you guys because y'all are looking at this. If anyone is watching it, y'all are looking at this. I have a cold sore, I have a bunch of pimples, and it's just not good. And I'm so glad we have the mask regime because I love it. Like, I enjoy it. I enjoy wearing a mask. Am I the only one who's that weird? Because I just don't have to show half of my face, and I promise you I hugely enjoy it, and it just boosts my confidence so much. First of all, you know why they get so much noise for the nominations is because of the Weeknd tweeting. But first of all, I would like to a little bit explain for like a couple of you guys who's watching and just to explain how the Grammys kind of work. Most of the people think that Grammys just the people who are choosing the artists and that's it, but that's not kind of, well, it is true. It's at the end it's the people, but what kind of people, that's the whole different case. So if you go to Grammys website, they kind of explain how it works. So basically, labels and musicians, the independent ones, submit their art and for what nomination they want to be nominated. Then I think there's like 12,000 members, if I'm not mistaken. So 12,000 members who vote during that first round and who's going to get longlisted for the nominations. By the way, there's a specific period when you can submit your stuff. So when those members decide who's going to get the long list, then the actual comedy where the people work in the academy, there's like a secret comedy. Why it's secret? Because nobody actually knows who works there. Like, people know who works in those like member groups. It's like basically sound engineers, production people, musicians, and like managers and stuff. But in that secret comedy, no one actually knows who works there. Basically, that secret comedy decide who is gonna be in the shortlist of nominations. That's it. Like, for example, if after the first round there are gonna be 20 nominations, then the Grammys committee gonna decide those 6 nominations, and they're gonna be like, well, these are the people who are actually gonna be nominated and actually gonna be announced. I hope it kind of makes it a little clearer how it works. It's not like People's Choice Awards that people just go and vote and then they choose the winner. It's not how actually it works. This year's nomination, so everyone looks at those top, I think 3 or 4 I think it's 4 categories. They look at that 4 categories. The rest, actually nobody really cares about the rest of the categories, so I'm just gonna go over those 4 categories because I don't care about the rest. I just don't. For me, I'm not that music deeply in the music. What was interesting in this year that the Weeknd, who's the latest album, After Hour, was kind of like, sorry, I'm shaking the thing. Whose latest album was kind of bopping and like hitting all the things, all the records. It was nominated for 0 nominations, and that's why it just kind of sparked a little bit of controversy around it. So that's why it sparked a little bit of controversy, and people were not happy, including The Weeknd. He was the first one who tweeted. I'm gonna insert the tweet somewhere here. He said that the Grammys owe him an explanation. Owe him, like, he actually uses owe him, explanation, and his fans. Basically, Weeknd was there like a student who got a bad grade and just on the impulse decided to email the professor saying like, why was this, why is that, and every college student knows you shouldn't email on the impulse. Like, you shouldn't email right after the bad news. You have to wait and think. And I think the way he put it out, you owe me explanations. I just didn't like it that much. I know lots of people support him and stuff, but I just didn't like the way he said it. It's just something in me. I don't know, maybe I'm just kind of like too soft for that, but it just, I don't know, the language was not there for me, and I just don't think that's kind of respectful for like anyone, not only like Grammys, for like anyone to just demand like, oh, you owe me something, but they don't owe you nothing actually. If you go like down like basics, they don't owe you nothing, just like you owe them nothing. So yeah, there is that. There is that. I know I made like 1 or 2 people mad now, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We can live. We can live. Bunch of fans were tweeting and liking, resharing, posting on social media, and then all of a sudden like all other singers and rappers and groups were like tweeting and supporting Weeknd, which I kind of understand, but they were also writing their own stories. Like, I don't know like why was it, but they kind of wrote. And we can also mention the Grammy was corrupt and stuff, that it was a mess. It was a whole mess. In my own opinion, I would say I don't roll with Grammys for last 5 years. I mean, I wasn't like that kind of deep into Grammys at all, like never. But as I was like growing up, and I love music, all the genres, and 90% of my music is never nominated for the Grammys. So I just read who's nominated, and that's it. I'm never surprised. The Grammy never surprises me. Like, actually, I don't know why people are always mad, but Grammy, I never expected Grammy to put something like of quality for me. But people are always like surprised by the Grammy nominations anyway. And I just want to say, the Grammys, the actual Grammys, they live on scandals. Like, unlike other prestigious like awards like Oscars, Emmys, Tony, who the fuck watches Tonys? Like, who cares about Tonys, you guys? But anyway, so unlike those like 3 awards, the Grammys are the messiest ones. They love scandals. They live in scandals. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they're on CBC or something, CBS, I think. Is that why they love scandals? Because I have no idea why they love scandals so freaking much. But they enjoy making scandals every single year. For me, Grammy became an empty spot when Bruno Mars took all 3 categories. I did not like it. I did not like it at all. When the album The Melodrama, no, that wasn't The Melodrama. It was when the album Melodrama by Lorde was not like selected for the album of the year, I knew something was off with Grammys. When Billie Eilish won 3 awards, just like Bruno Mars, I also did not like it. I still do not think she deserved those, but okay. And when Lil Nas X didn't win any of the big Grammy like nominations, I also was like, how can Old Town Road did not win any of the Song of the Year, Record of the Year? That is just that didn't sit right with me, because that was the Song of the Year. That was the Song of the Year in the US. I mean, I'm talking about the US, America. So that's my opinion on the Grammys. I do not take it seriously. I read the nomination. I'm like, well, not surprised. And then the next day, it's just everyone's hating on it. I'm like, well, did you expect something else? But this time I kind of get why people are angry. And I would like to mention that I'm a huge fan of The Weeknd. Like, since my high school days, which were like 2014, 2015, I started listening to The Weeknd. And I thoroughly enjoy his music. Like, I think his last album is the best album of his so far. And it's because he added that 90s flavor like of pop to his usual genre, which is like R&B and soul. And I just thoroughly enjoy it. I just really like it. And The Hardest to Love is my favorite song on the album. So I would love to see Weeknd being nominated in a big like nominations. As I mentioned, I just don't like the way he reacted to it, and like lately I just don't like the way he accepts the awards. It's like if you saw him accepting the award for like AMAs or like VMAs, it's just like, I don't see, maybe it's just his as a person, just me looking at it in a different way, maybe in a dumb way. But I just don't like the way he accepts the awards. It's just like they're supposed to be given to him, not like, he's not acting like he won the award. He's acting like he's taking the award, and I don't know, it also just sits a little bit different with me. It's probably me, you guys. I'm weird. And then the news articles came out saying like why he was not nominated, why it's this, and then someone has to include racism, and I saw lots of topics and conversation on racism and the Grammys and stuff like that. And I would like to add, if we're saying the racism and stuff, we should say it fully. For example, if you're saying that the racism is the issue why Weeknd was not nominated for the Grammys, then I want to say why then K-pop people like BTS and Blackpink were not nominated for big awards as well. I thoroughly think that BTS, not even BTS, I think even Blackpink do deserve the nomination for the for the new artist of the year. Like, I actually think so, because they were popping everywhere, just like BTS' song Dynamite. I think is a very much a strong contestant for the nomination of Song of the Year or Record of the Year, because Dynamite was also everywhere. Even if I don't like it, I just know it's everywhere. It's just not for me, but I can acknowledge that song was everywhere, because the main argument what people use is why Weeknd was not nominated is because otherwise it just doesn't make no sense. It just don't make no sense if you're saying that racism is the issue of Grammys. Maybe, but why it should be only towards the Weeknd? Like, other artists were not nominated as well. For example, Lil Baby, I have not seen, even though he was popping the whole year, I have not seen him anywhere. The Baby, I think I only saw his Rockstar being nominated for the Song of the Year. Otherwise, I couldn't see his album also nowhere. So it's not one-sided problem. Don't look at something only with one side of view. You have to kind of open up the spectrum if you want to, because it doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. I don't know why people say stuff like this without actually thinking about it, because I would have enjoyed so much seeing BTS and Blackpink actually getting nominations and awards and seeing actual Asian representation. But that's not happening, right? And I'm not blaming anyone for those stuff. I'm not saying they're racist for that, because that's a big accusation to make, and I just don't like making big statements out of thin air. And also, I would like to talk about this conversation that I just don't enjoy that much. I just don't like it. The topic of who deserves and who doesn't. The music is such a subjective thing. There's so many actually talented artists and like groups and singers and stuff that would not even like consider for nomination. It just happens. I just don't like this part. That if you're talking about The Weeknd not deserving something, then why, for example, when Halsey was not nominated for anything this year, like, I don't see no one defending her actually. And actually, for example, Harry Styles' album, which was like hugely also discussed, just as much as After Hours by Weeknd, it got no nominations for the album of the year. I was at work and I was seriously thinking why people are so much specifically about Weeknd's album. And I think it's because it was the most recent and most famous album recently. I mean, like, because all the popping albums came out earlier, and kind of people started forgetting that and like because this was the album. For example, I don't see no one hating on Post Malone's album being nominated for the top categories, because everyone already forgot about that part and they just don't care about it no more. And Abel's album is still popping out and it's still fresh. The music videos are still coming out, and that's why people care about it a lot and concentrate it a lot now, and they kind of get his fans. But it's just not the way to roll. We can get so many other awards. He has so much fans, and he is actually performing on Super Bowl, which I think is huge success. I think it's one of the best designations the artist in US can get, because that's huge. Like, as I've read in some like news outlets, him performing on Super Bowl, which is a week apart of Grammys, was actually the thing that gave The Weeknd 0 nominations, because he had to perform on Grammys one week and the other week on Super Bowl or something, and just Grammy didn't like it. Or I don't know. I don't believe that, but that was one of the options. Finally, I spoke out, and what I needed to say, I said it, okay? Instead of writing like huge tweets. And one thing I like to also discuss, Grammys has their own opinions. Trust me or not, the Grammys have their own opinion. It's not People's Choice Awards. If people had something to say, like, I mean, people when they say like fans, I was talking about like regular schmegler people like me and you, if we had a voice to say in the Grammys, it would not hold the same prestige as it's holding now, because it will be another People's Choice Awards. Like, no one would care. Like, if actually people were voting for it, or if the Grammys was doing what people wanted, then it will not hold any prestige. Because think about it, just like anything else, it has certain status, it has certain, it's like a brand, it's like a luxury brand, it has certain status, it has certain price tag, it has certain structure to it, so they will roll with that and make you angry, and it would still be the most prestigious awards in US. Okay, like that's just what it is. So when people are mad at it, I'm like, well, you can vote on AMAs, you can vote on VMAs, you can vote on Teen's Choice Awards, if you can even vote on Kids' Choice Awards and just get all the awards you want for the weekend. But the Grammys, unfortunately, will have their own opinions, and it just doesn't roll with it. I will also add that when they chose the album of the year, I'm focusing pretty much on the album of the year category because in my opinion that's the main category, and I don't know why they don't have artist of the year category, but okay, they have album of the year. They have to diversify it. I don't think if they'll put all the rap, for example, albums or all the pop albums, it will not be interesting to watch it. If you're gonna actually look at the nomination for 2021, which are Chilombo, by Jhené Aiko, Black Pumas by Black Pumas, Everyday Life by Coldplay, Jeze Volume 3 by Jacob Collier, Women in Music by Haim, Future Nostalgia by Dua Lipa, Hollywood's Bleeding by Post Malone, and Folklore by Taylor Swift. Look at the variants of genres. They have R&B by Jhené, they have even blues, they have rap, they have hip-hop by Post Malone, and they have pure pop, which is Dua Lipa, and they have also folk and indie, which is Haim and Taylor Swift. So, do you see how diverse it is? That's when people say, why Lil Babies, The Babies, and other people's album aren't there? Because they're all in one category. They're not putting 3 rap albums in the album of the year. They have to put the genres, the blues, the folk, the rap, hip-hop, R&B, they have to include pop. It will not be interesting if you only include all pop albums. For example, I consider Weeknd's album is pop album. To be honest, for me, it is pop album. I'm saying pop. It is a pop album to me. So I don't think, if I had to choose the album of the year, I would still include him. And the final part I wish to add is Grammys are American. I don't like how people and the Grammys themselves like saying that's the biggest night in the music. Like that's how they say it. That's how they roll with it. Do you guys understand the music? Like the people who listen to American music is like 1%. The American music is 1% of the all different genres of music, all the different types of flavors and like types of music. As I mentioned, 90% of stuff I listen, it will never be nominated for Grammys because it's not American. The Grammys are 99% American and 1% British. That's it. Like, that is it. They can't even nominate Dynamite by BTS just because, I don't know why. I don't know why. To me, that is the Song of the Year nomination, but they don't want to do it. And I just want to watch the Grammys again. Probably I haven't watched it in like last 5 years just because it's just a night of people who are full of themselves, and the songs that are just full of themselves as well, sitting there thinking they're the epitome of music, which is not, it just doesn't sit right with me. So that's why I enjoy a little bit different kind of, if I like look at the awards, I'm probably gonna look at the more of like European Asian side, let alone the American side. Even though I do listen to American music, I enjoy it as well. I don't think that's correct to say that Grammys is like the biggest night in music industry, the album of the year, so it's gonna be only one album by American artist who's gonna win it. I don't know, it just don't make no sense to me, and I don't like how it's kind of egoistical and too narcissistic for me, but I guess it's just how it rolls over there. And also the album of the year category, like am I the only one who haven't listened to anything there? I haven't listened to Folklore, I haven't listened to anything except Hollywood's Bleeding by Post Malone. If people are angry at that specific nomination, I want them to listen to every single album of that and then decide if they're bad or good. Like, if you're saying that The Weeknd deserves something, for example, if The Weeknd deserves Album of the Year category, you automatically mean that one of the people in the category do not deserve the nomination. They have specific spots, specific number of spots for people in that category. And if you're saying The Weeknd deserves the nomination there, then one of those people who are there, one of the artists, do not deserve it. Then, so that's why I don't like the whole deserve, do not deserve conversation. It just doesn't make no sense to me. Therefore, I think it's a good situation to be in for The Weeknd. He has a Super Bowl, He has all the other awards, he has huge fans, he has numbers, he has good songs. Good for him, I wish him the best, and for you guys, I also wish the best, because people are stressing out so much over this, and nowadays I think there's a bigger problem out there, like pandemic, the worldwide pandemic. Care about that, please. Can everyone care about pandemic just like they care about the music? At the end of the day, it's just not that deep. It's not that deep. Trust me, whoever's gonna get that nomination, in 10 years, you probably will never, never think about this. No, why I'm saying 10, in 1 year, you probably will not think about this, okay? Even though I think about 2017 all the time, but you will not think about it, okay? Once again, I'm sorry for my pimples. I did my best to cover them. I actually did nothing. Thanks so much for watching this video. I wish you the best, guys. Thanks so much for watching my video. That actually means so much to me, considering the fact that I had a horrible freaking week. I love doing these videos, even though they're not like popping or something, but I love doing them. And thanks so much for watching. I'm going to see you in my next video, and bye.